It is the fall season here in beautiful Nova Scotia. That means lots of colorful leaves, cooler temperatures, and so many beautiful sights, smells, and tastes. This has provided me with an excellent opportunity to take advantage of some of the best hiking trails in this province, and has also led me to this edition of Let's Talk About It, spending time in nature. So you may have gathered from posts and any interactions with me that I love spending time amongst trees. I love to go hiking, whether it's by myself, with Zeta, or with friends. And over the last week or so, I've been able to take advantage of those trails and some downtime. And though there have been some tick situations, mostly they have been wonderful, beautiful, quiet, relaxing nature therapy experiences. But this past weekend, I hit one of my absolute favorite trails, the Musquodoboit Harbor Trailway System, rail trail. It's a beautiful, about 14, 15 kilometer flat surface, but then there are also some hiking trails off of the main one. And I took a couple of my friends to one of the shorter trails on that system, the Bayers Lake Loop. It has beautiful views, especially this time of year. You can see quite a distance with tons of colorful leaves. The lake, you can see the harbor a little bit. Yeah, it's just a really nice hike any time of the year, but I especially love it this time of year. It smelled a lot like Christmas trees. Yeah, it was just really great. Until we got to one of the viewing platforms or rest stops, and there was quite a large group, a couple of adults, several children, and they were not overly respectful of where they were. There are some barriers because it's a cliff, and the kids were going on the opposite side of the barrier and climbing. And while you may feel that you're skilled at that, there is aspects of liability and safety, not just of your own party or yourself, but also those who are around. A couple of the kids also were throwing big sticks and just a bunch of stuff over the side, not being mindful that the trail is right below them, so they could have really hurt somebody. And so this is why I really want to tackle I don't know, outdoor etiquette or trail etiquette. So the first is to be quiet. And this doesn't mean you can't talk with your friends or whoever you are hiking with, but just be mindful that you don't have to talk the whole time, and others might be using the trail just to get some quiet time. So sure, talking is great, but you don't need to be really loud. Yelling is not necessarily, well, it's not necessary, and it's not ideal either. Keep to one side, so when you're encountering somebody, don't take up the whole trail, and that's whether you're on a small hiking trail or the one like the main trail in this instance. So keeping to one side, make sure it allows for everybody to be able to use the trail, and yeah, just it's more enjoyable, it's respectful, yeah. If you are on a more natural trail, so not one with crusher rock or pavement or anything like that, make sure that you keep on the trail. So even if it's a bit muddy, walk through the mud. That's why it's really important to have really good footwear, because then it keeps you a bit stable when you're walking on those muddy or wet surfaces. And then you're not destroying any of the other natural settings, ecosystem habitat for wildlife that is already in existence that we may not see very easily. Also, take whatever you bring in out with you. So if you have snacks for your rest stops, make sure you put your garbage in your backpack. The same goes for any pet waste. So When I'm traveling with Zeta, I either leave, if it's a loop I'm doing, I'll leave a bag often so I can collect it on my way back, or I just hang on to it. It's not usually that inconvenient if I'm holding her leash to also hold her waist. And finally, just leave nature where it is. So in the case that I brought up about where the kids were throwing branches over the side of the trail, just leave things where they are. You don't know who or what is using those things, but it's also just really respectful and very important to allow nature to be as it is. We are lucky enough to have access to spend time in mostly untouched areas around here. So just allowing those systems to remain as natural or in place as they can benefits us all. It makes that time even more valuable, but it also allows the species that require those things to be able to continue using them. And also along many of these trails, this one in particular, there are lots of rare or endangered species. So when I did this same trail in the middle of the summer, I saw lots of lady slippers, and they are a very rare species here in Nova Scotia, even though they are native to Nova Scotia, but so many people pick them and they've just been destroyed by going off trail and not knowing what's there. So yes, just being mindful of all of those things. And of course, anything you see in nature, leave it there. Take a picture of it if you think it's really beautiful. You don't need to bring it home with you. And then that way you can revisit it and others can enjoy it as well. So those are just a few simple rules for spending time in nature and on trails, a bit of etiquette and how we can preserve these beautiful spaces that volunteers mostly spend a lot of time making sure are there for us and are safe. So let us do our own part in keeping them safe and beautiful as well. Big shout out to all the volunteers who make trails happen, who help people get out in nature. Such a special thing. And I always am grateful anytime I get to be on one of these community maintained trails. So thanks very much if you are watching this and you are one of those people. And if you are an avid hiker or looking to get out hiking, take some time while you're out there to just really appreciate the work that goes into creating and maintaining these trails. So that's my rant on spending time in nature and the rules for while we're out there. Hope you are well. We'll see you again soon.